The humanitarian trip got started in 2015, so I just started my job as the Ryerson Athletic Volunteer Experience Assistant here at Ryerson Athletics, and Julie Longman from the women's volleyball team came in and said that she wanted to start a trip. So we started to plan it, we developed it into the program that it is. That's sort of how it got started, and we've been developing it for 3 years since then.
Overall, Ailish is a great person. Couldn't think of a better person to have as our captain this year, leading the charge. Her leadership skills are unreal. She is a great person, on and off the ice, a great hockey player. Just all around is everything that you would expect in a captain.
Ailish just shone through as a leader through and through. Ailish, right from the beginning of meeting her last year, she wanted to be involved in everything. She wanted to have a part in everything. She wanted to contribute ideas. She wanted to work with some of the younger athletes. Ailish just simply, she's a leader, and that really shone through, and that's a big part of why she's a leader on the trip this year to Ghana.
So I went on the Cambodia trip, and that was like my first volunteer abroad. I did a lot of stuff in the Toronto area when I was growing up. When I went to Dartmouth, I was involved in some like humanitarian stuff around campus, but nothing super far from home. So this was the first experience when I went to Cambodia to really have that, and really just changed my perspective of how we can get involved, especially as athletes, and use that position that we have, and like how lucky we are to play these sports and to like inspire people around the world to, you know, love the sports that we love and kind of bring our position of knowledge and help them out. So going to Cambodia was like the first major experience I had, and that really just like opened up the world that I could be involved in.
So happy that Ailish was the one that I got to experience that with. Just going on that trip together, and everything that we experienced together, from the 30 hours of traveling, slaying together, sweating unbelievable amounts together. Just that whole experience just really brought us closer, and we have a great relationship now.
The Cambodia trip was a great experience. We sort of built off of our Peru trip the year before. We had a fantastic time. We learned a lot about the history of Cambodia. We had a really eye-opening time working with some local children at an orphanage, and we were able to teach some sports as well, which was really great for our athletes, and gave them a lot of perspectives that maybe otherwise we wouldn't be able to attain.
We ended up at the New Hope orphanage, and so we'd spend our full day there around like 8:30 till 4:30 with the kids. In the mornings we tried to do a lot of English teaching. We tried to teach as much as we could to the kids. Obviously there's language barrier, and that was difficult, but it was more like spending time and doing the little things, like teaching them, you know, vocabulary, alphabet, etc. And then in the afternoons we do a lot of sport, which was really fun. The kids loved that. So we tried to do the learning first and then let the fun stuff happen in the afternoon.
Ailish, along with Aaron Armstrong for men's hockey, they were sort of chosen to work with me to actually run the trip, to plan it and to create it this year. They stepped up as really fantastic leaders in the Cambodia trip, and they're really great choices. Ailish especially, to move the trip forward next year. So she particularly wanted to learn, and I think, you know, the trip will be in great hands with her next year.
So since it's my final season playing hockey, I'm trying to look a bit past that, and obviously want to leave an impact on Ryerson and in the athletic department. So like, this is a really great opportunity for me as well to learn and grow as an athlete and as a humanitarian, I'd say, and be as involved as I can, because, you know, a lot of people come into Ryerson and they just want to be an athlete, and I think we can use our position as athletes a little bit more and be more involved in even local communities. Like, you don't need to go abroad to be a humanitarian. Like, you can do a lot of things locally, and I'm going to definitely try to inspire like at least my teammates to be more involved as well. So that's kind of my mentality going into this final season, like to just try to have like the most wholesome, full-rounded year as I can have.
I think it's great for the Ryerson community and Ryerson athletics, because you're developing a whole student athlete. You're developing them into just great human beings, and I think that's the whole point of being a student athlete, is you're not just here to play the sport, you're here for the whole experience. You're learning how to be the best in your sport, the best in the classroom, the best in your community, and I think we all have that same kind of perspective on it, which made it a great group to travel with.
In my time at Ryerson Athletics, I've really come to believe that athletes here are dedicated to so much more than their sport. Ryerson athletes are really the face of the school. They're on buses, they're on murals, so it's really important that they represent Ryerson as a whole and represent them in the community.